teachings practical in daily life. So today I'm just going to read to you out of the text because it's the Holy Shift book pretty much had most of the lesson. So the lesson for today is 270 in the Course in Miracles workbook. Thank you for the hearts and the inviting followers. And I noticed that my screen is still freezing up every now and then. If I miss you, watch the replay and thank you, because I know that's not the funnest way to get the stuff. Okay, lesson 270. I will not use the body's eyes today. So there's a lot of Christ language in here, so don't hitch on that. Replace that with whatever you need to make it comfortable and, within your belief structure, because the information on this is really good, and it also relates to my book. So we'll talk about this, and we're going to talk about how it relates to my book, because why not? I will not use the body's eyes today. Father, Christ's vision is your gift to me, and it has power to translate all that the body's eyes behold into the sight of a forgiven world. How glorious and gracious is this world, yet how much more will I perceive it? Yet how much more will I perceive in it than sight can give? The world forgiven signifies your Son acknowledges his Father, lets his dreams be brought to truth, and waits expectantly the one remaining instant more of time which ends forever as your memory returns to him. And now his will is one with yours, his function now is but your own, and every thought except your own is gone. The quiet of today will bless our hearts. This is the easier part. And jot this down somewhere. The quiet of today will bless our hearts, and through them, peace will come to everyone. If there's peace in our heart, it radiates to everyone around us, which then radiates outward from them. You can create a huge peace ripple. Christ is our eyes today, and through his sight we offer healing to the world, the Holy Son whom God created whole, the Holy Son whom God created one. There's a lot of Christian music that is good. There's a lot that's really judgmental and harsh. But there is one song, I think it's by Brandon Heath, Heath. And I don't know the title. I'm sorry, I'm completely unprepared on that part. It says, give me your eyes for the chorus says, give me your eyes for just 1 second. Give me your eyes so I can see all of the things that I've been missing. Give me your love for humanity. And the song is talking about seeing through the eyes of Jesus. So the singer is at an airport, and he's asking to see everyone in the airport through the eyes of Christ, the Christ energy. You could say that you want to see everyone as they really are, the truth of as they really are, not the stories that surround them, not the body package that they're wearing, but the truth of their soul. If you look at people with the intention of seeing, and when I say intention, I mean just saying in your head, I want to see everyone I encounter today as a face of spirit made manifest. I want to understand and recognize that when I see someone else's face, I'm seeing a piece of spirit that's also my spirit, and we're both connected. So regardless of appearance, regardless of if they're an irritating person or a fun to be around person, they're all different parts of the same whole. And when you look at people like that, you have a lot more patience for their idiosyncrasies. You have a lot more tolerance for the stuff that comes rolling out of their mouth. This can be especially effective with family members because there's that old saying, if you think if you think you've achieved spiritual mastery, go to a family gathering and see how long you last. That's your litmus test for how far you've come. If you can go to a family gathering and not lose your shit, you're doing good. Hi, Letitia. So, that's what I enjoy doing, like testing myself. Yeah, that's an old one. Like, you'll know how far you've come in your spirituality. Good morning. and your meditation practice and your sense of serenity if you can make it through a Sunday dinner with the family or a family reunion and be okay. Or for some people, even having a conversation on the phone with a family member can toss all your spiritual practices right out the window. So test yourselves. Family knows your buttons. Oh, yes. So if you can be around your family and see them with the eyes of spirit and not get thrown off kilter by the things that they do, yeah, then you're like next door to Buddha. So the lesson for today is to do that, to go through the day reminding yourself, right? Great. Now I got to go talk to a family member and see how I'm doing. So how that relates to the stuff I write about self-care is I started this book about self-care about 1.5 years ago. Because I really was getting tired of hearing about police officers killing themselves, veterinarians killing themselves. I was really getting tired of what seemed like a huge increase in suicides among people who serve others. So there's not a lot I can do about that. I can just throw my experiences and my information out into the world. And if someone stumbles across it and finds it helpful, then great. If they don't, at least I feel like I got my creation out into the world, and I don't care where it goes. I want it out there. So in doing that, I was covering a lot of self-care techniques and asking animal rescue people and victims advocates, like, what are you doing for self-care? So I could put together this collection of techniques. Well, over time, what's become apparent is it's not techniques that people need. People know what to do. They're not doing it. So the discussion needs to start with, why aren't you doing what you know takes care of you? Why aren't you choosing to see your life from a different perspective, from a different set of eyes? Why aren't you choosing to see yourself with the eyes of the Christ energy, or with the eyes of the goddess energy, or whatever you feel comfortable with? Why aren't you turning your vision on yourself from a compassionate place? So it's not that we don't know what to do, it's that we're choosing not to do it. For whatever reason. That's not like you're a bad person because you're choosing not to do these things. It's what's that about? What's stopping you from treating yourself with the same compassion you'd give a stranger? We would never talk to the people outside of ourselves the way we talk to ourselves inside our own heads. We wouldn't say those things. We wouldn't treat people that way. We wouldn't be harsh with people that way, the way we are with ourselves. We just wouldn't do it. So then what's stopping us from turning that around? That is the question. That is the question. So at 3 a.m, a couple of nights ago, I was up. I use Google Docs. And if you're a writer or you're trying to brainstorm things, hey, Cynthia, you can use Google Docs because we are not as compassionate with ourselves. No, we're not. And why is that? What's stopping us? And that's where the work is, teasing apart why we're not implementing the things that make us feel better. Are we uncomfortable with being happy? Do we think we don't deserve to be happy? Do we need help with our physical bodies getting adjusted to a different way of life? What do we need? That popped in my head. And Google Docs is nice because you can put the app on your phone. You can open a new document. You can do this in the middle of the night when you have random thoughts that you want to retain, because if you don't write them down, they're gone. And you can just press the microphone thing and you can dictate to it. And then it's there. You don't have to save it. It automatically saves. So then you can open it on your laptop later and you've got your thoughts right there. Sometimes you have to decipher why it says rubber chicken duct tape. Sometimes it interprets your voice wrong, but you have enough of what you were thinking about that you can get it back. So that's what came to me is it's not that we don't know how to do it. I'll still have those things in the book. But I'm going to put more emphasis on the last document I opened, I swear to God, it said rubber chicken. And duct tape was later in there. And I was like, how did it get rubber chicken? Because I'm sure I didn't say that. So, you have to do some editing. But it's a really good way to get your thoughts preserved when you have those flashes of insight. So, the book is about, like, using hashtags to define your life. Like, we can focus, there's a whole stream of threads, and if you want to use the tapestry metaphor, say that there's a whole stream of threads running through our lives, right? And we get to pick which thread we focus on. So we can hashtag sadness, or, that can become the theme of our life, or we can hashtag relationship drama, and that can become the theme of our life, or we can hashtag peace, and that can become the theme of our life, and connection to spirit can become the theme of our life. We get to pick, but we aren't always conscious in which thread or which hashtag theme that we're focusing on. So that's how that relates, is you get to, whose eyes are you seeing life through today? Whose eyes do you want to see life through today? Do you want to see them through your mother's eyes? Do you want to see them through your father's eyes, or your teacher's eyes, or the accumulation of society's labels that they've put on you? Do you want to see yourself through those judgmental eyes? Not that your parents are judgmental, but, society in general, and marketers especially, tell you that you're not enough. And you need their product so that you can be enough for only $19.95. And if you buy 2 today, you get 3. So there's that kind of stuff. So that's what the thing is today. Like, ask yourself, whose eyes are you viewing your life with, and whose eyes especially are you viewing yourself with? And then choose. How would Jesus see you? And if your first thought is negative, that needs to be investigated, because that's not the truth. An ascended master or an angel or God or the goddess would not see you in any critical way. There wouldn't be yeah, you're okay, but yeah, you're doing pretty good over here, but you could work a little harder over here. That would not be. It would be 100% total, unconditional compassion and love for you as you are right now today. Right now, this minute, absolute perfection. All love and peace. You would not be criticized for a single thing. And you can see yourself in that same way because you are that. The Course in Miracles talks about the ego a lot, but you can't separate yourself from your ego. It's a part of you. If everything is a part of the whole, your ego is a part of you too. But you get to choose how much attention you pay to those thoughts. Those thoughts don't go away generally. They may get a little quieter. But egoic, critical, perfectionistic tendencies can get better, but they generally don't leave you entirely. But your awareness, I know, Linda, you're reading War of Art, which talks a lot about that, and we've talked a lot about that too. Your awareness of where your choice is and what choice you're making moment to moment becomes much more precise. You become instantly aware when you start to choose to see someone through the eyes of judgment. You start to become instantly aware when you start to view yourself with the eyes of perfectionism. What happens is, in the beginning, you have a thought and you don't catch it at all. Like you're not even aware that you're thinking those thoughts. And as you pray and meditate and do spiritual practices and educate yourself that those voices are not you, not who you really are, then there starts to come a space. So then there's a thought, a space, and then a choice. We used to talk about this with addicts a lot. The craving doesn't hit you out of nowhere. You don't just suddenly find yourself with the needle in your arm. There's a thought, there's a thought, there's the impulse to squash the thought, because addiction is about hiding from pain. And the process of recovery is making space in between the thought and the action. The thought that becomes a craving that then becomes an action. Recovery from negative thinking and recovering from addiction is really no different. You're learning to extend that time between the thought and the choice you make to take an action. So the thought doesn't go away. You still have the thought. You might still feel the impulse, but there's enough space of awareness in between that you can make a different choice. So when you see someone and you start to judge them, you'll hear it. The more you practice, the more you'll hear yourself making that judgment. And you'll be like, what are you talking about? I don't know. No. We're going to see the person that we just judged as a flawed human being just like we are, and we're going to send them love. We're going to generate love in our hearts somehow or another, even if we have to just think of puppies and kittens to make ourselves feel loving, and then we're going to shoot that energy over to that person, because that person's us, and we need love, and so do they. So that's the payoff for sticking with the practice every day. Whatever that practice is becoming aware of your thoughts and having enough space before you take an action to make a different choice, to even evaluate that you have a choice. Do I want to come from love, or do I want to come from fear right now? If you choose to come from fear, that's okay. That's your choice. You have the freedom to do that. The consequences of that decision may be different than what you want. If you choose to reach for love, you may not even know how. But you can say, I'd really rather feel love toward this person right now. I'd really rather feel love toward this situation right now. Even if you don't actually feel it, by being willing to feel it, it will come. And like I said, sometimes you have to use a touchstone memory or a touchstone thing that you think about and then makes you feel loving. And then really quickly you transfer that over to the situation or the person. And with practice, that gets a lot easier. Sometimes I hear myself thinking things, and nowadays I'm just like, I don't know where that came from, and I don't even care where it came from. It used to be like, I used to ask, like, where'd that come from? Like, where did I get that belief? Why am I seeing that person that way? Now I just push it. I don't push it. I set it to the side so it has its time, but then I say, I'd really rather feel love right now. Yes, and if I have a thought I don't like, I immediately say, delete in my mind. Yeah, you can say that. The good thing about even saying delete is, or cancel or whatever, is, yeah, it works because it increases your awareness. If you have enough awareness to catch a thought and say cancel or delete, you're aware that you're thinking that thought. So the watcher in you, the higher part of you, is starting to recognize the difference between thoughts that you just automatically think and the thoughts that you really want to move toward. So for some people, and I'm sure you remember earlier on, that you didn't even have the awareness you were thinking that thought. You had that experience yesterday with someone you truly disliked. Not so much anymore. So what happened? You caught your thought and chose differently, Linda? Is that what happened? One little trick you can do, this sounds kind of extreme, but if that person died tomorrow, would you want your thoughts about them to be what they are today? So that's just like a little therapy trick. Like, we tend to forgive everything when someone dies. We're just like, we tend to just let it all go. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes it gets worse. But sometimes when someone dies, we tend to forgive a lot more easily. Yeah. Well, and don't like beat yourself up over it. I don't mean it that way. I mean, if you are having a struggle with someone, yeah. Well, I'm talking more about like a chronic struggle. Don't judge yourself for having thoughts like that. That's what I mean. Like, it's kind of an extreme situation when you're having trouble, really a long-term chronic problem, finding compassion for someone. Sometimes you can play with that concept. Like, if they died tomorrow, he treated you the same, but you reacted differently. You didn't feel impacted by it. Over time, that treatment may change. You were the one in agony over his presence, yeah. But then you felt better. We can't do these things with expectation that it's going to change someone else's behavior, because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Good. That's all that's necessary. That's all that's needed to get through life more comfortably, so much happier. Yeah. It's about becoming aware and then choosing. It's hard to do when you first start watching your thoughts. Absolutely. It's absolutely hard to do when you first get started. But over time, you build those muscles of awareness, and it gets easier. I promise you, it gets easier. You catch yourself more. You learn to stop judging yourself. You started in traffic, right? Traffic is a great place. Traffic is a great place to practice all these things, because it gives you daily opportunity to feel yourself slide off center. Sending love to those who cut me off. Yeah. His wife is going to be more challenging, but I'm up for it. Sure you are. You're working your butt off. Sure you are. You're all up for the challenge. Okay, so that's the thing for today. Is work on catching yourself, not judging yourself, and then choosing whose eyes you'd like to see that person or situation from. Sometimes taking that even higher view, like, well, that thing about, was this going to matter 5 years from now? Probably not. Probably not. So if it's not going to matter 5 years from now, it doesn't have to matter today either. It's just a training process. It's not a judgment thing. It's not a you've been bad before today and now you're going to be good thing. It's just a training thing. It's just making a different choice. No judgment. My book is still in the process. It'll be December 1st. It's pretty well done. I just need to add some things to it. Yeah, it makes us strong. Well, it makes us aware that we're strong already, because we are really strong. We don't recognize our power so much. So the book will be ready by December 1st is my goal. So I need to do add some things to it, get the table of contents done. I need to I need to look at some cover art options. Although I'm an artist, I don't want to do my own cover art because I'm not a graphic designer. My book will start as an ebook. There'll be a printed copy option, but it'll be available on Kindle for usually $4.99 is what I put my books at. Just under $5. So I have a couple of things I need to check on as to there's some website that does cover art. Hey, how are you? Oasis? I usually mess those up. So we're just wrapping up talking about how you make the choice of whose eyes to see the world through. If you want to watch the replay, that'd be great. I think we had a good discussion today. And I think being aware of the choice that you have to make about how you look at the world and how you look at yourself is really important. And then we were just talking about a book I have coming out on December 1st about that. Yeah, today's been a good discussion day. Like anything, some days it's awesome and some days it's not so awesome, and some days it's easy and some days it's not. So, fluctuating waves of life, always. So I'll just wrap it up with the repeating where we started, the easy to understand part. The quiet of today will bless our hearts, and through them, peace will come to everyone. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being here and the hearts and the shares. It's awesome. Christ is our eyes today, or spirit. Choosing to see through different eyes, through compassionate eyes, let's say that. And through his sight, we offer healing to the world. I'll just stop there. Through compassionate sight, we offer healing to ourselves and the world. And we bless our hearts, which blesses others' hearts and creates that ripple peace effect that we all are so hungry for. It's just, in truth, what we're really hungry for. As we're reaching for promotions and money and weight loss and new cars and fixing, always trying to fix things, what we're really hungry for is that connection to our heart, to our spirit, to our soul, to all that is. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. And as usual, tomorrow's Monday, right? So I'll see you on Monday. And thank you again for your presence. It's the group that makes the magic. And it's awesome. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. And be kind to each other and yourselves. And think about who you're seeing with. You're so welcome. Goodbye. Happy Sunday. I hit the wrong button. Oh my gosh, did my Periscope title go away? That's lovely. Okay, there we go.